Stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Manlius Planning Board meeting for August 11th, 2025. We are in person and online for a hybrid meeting. The first item on our agenda is the approval of the minutes for the July 21st, 2025 meeting. If anyone has any questions or concerns or edits, otherwise I will look for a motion for approval.
Will we approve? Second.
Okay, motion made by Arnie for approval, seconded by Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Oh, right. I know, remember? Yes. And then we don't have our 20, so Arnie, we're not here.
Well, as long as he's read the minutes, he can't vote.
Oh, all right.
Probably just, and is familiar with the ones before us, he can vote.
All right. Is that the case? All right, then we will keep the motion on the table. Okay. You watched the meeting, you read the minutes.
Yep.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for approval of minutes. All right, the next item on our agenda is for Tim Cooley. This is on for a public hearing for site plan and special use permit for a pole barn, 8568 East Genesee Street. This is tax map number 091.02-02.2. We have Alex.
Yep.
Just want to give a quick update for the public hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. So after last meeting, we kind of discussed some final items that I think were still of a concern. Namely, making sure that the elevation that was provided was correctly labeled and reflected the neighboring parcels to the east and west, correctly updating the survey so it doesn't show any proposed information like it previously had, and updating architectural again to be a little more clear, which was all provided in the most recent packet at the end of last month, to supplement what we've already provided up to this date. I don't know if you want a more specific summary, but that's, I guess, the modification since the last meeting.
Okay. Does anyone on the board have any questions for Alex?
I got one quick question. On the survey, it does show an old concrete foundation. Is that gonna be
Yes.
removed before the new
Yep.
building starts? Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so before the public hearing, we do need to go through seeker. If Jamie can lead us through that. And then we'll do the public hearing after that.
So we're going to answer these questions. No or small impact may occur, or moderate or large impact will occur. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
Minor.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Will the proposed action impact existing public or private water supplies or public or private wastewater treatment facilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, for example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna?
No.
Will Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
All of these, answers being no or small impact, the chair may entertain a motion for a negative secret declaration.
Negative deck.
Okay, motion made by Rich, looks like second by Don. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries for a negative secret declaration. So now we will move on to the public hearing. So Lisa, did you publish the notice for the public hearing? Yes. Okay. I look for a motion to leave to review. Okay. Motion made by Judy to waive the public hearing notice, second by Arnie. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and I'll take a motion to open the public hearing. Motion made by Don,
Second.
seconded by Aaron. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Public hearing is now open.
Should I sit over here?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, is anyone here on to speak about the pole barn on Genesee Street? East Genesee Street. Okay. Is there anyone online, Lisa? Okay, with there being no one to speak, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Close the public hearing. Second.
Okay, motion made by Rich, second by Arnie, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries to close the public hearing. So I don't know if the board has any other comments or questions. We do need to kind of discuss and go through the special use permit criteria, which we were to do the site plan. First, Jamie, what do you think?
So let's do the special permit criteria.
Okay. So, and I have, I'll just say that this type of usage for the commercial storage is allowed in this zone with a special use permit. So that's why we'll go through the special use permit criteria. And we are trying to adhere as much as we can to our comprehensive plan, the town's comprehensive plan. And so we will be noting some things in the special use permit criteria to make sure that it is compatible with the area and the neighborhood, because it's some things that are special use. Go ahead, Rich.
There are some parking spaces that are in front of this pole barn. Is there a plan to keep equipment outside of the,
No, the parking spaces are not for equipment storage,
and so who's gonna be parking in those parking spaces?
just for him to park. I suppose that was kind of that weird, what is the parking requirement for this commercial storage? Do we need to provide parking? No customers or public comes, and so I think it was just to meet sort of an
For him to
ambiguous
access the
minimum.
store.
So no overnight parking in those spaces?
No.
Thank you.
And I think that's something we would like to put in the
In the
special use
special
permit,
use.
for no
Yeah.
overnight parking of vehicles or equipment.
So we're going to go through this, and as we go through the criterion that helps it meet, these criteria, and if there are conditions, we can talk about it right in the discussion. So,
Actually, I have a quick question. Why wouldn't he be able to park a vehicle there overnight?
what we're trying to do is determine the,
Especially if it's from
right. Yeah, I think this was a discussion item, I think, as to whether that.
Yeah, like I think we had heard before in one of these that we discussed, just the type of vehicles that would be there, like, work, commercial type of vehicles, or work vehicles. Again, it is, but, up against two other residential properties.
Okay, so that makes good sense then.
I mean, that was just my thought, a couple
I
other thoughts along the way that
No,
we
that's-
found along the way.
As I recall the plan, there's only one smart parking spot, and that's on the side.
There's two.
The front, if the front regard will face the street, nothing can park there. Gas station line fence it in, there's only a 6 foot setback, there's no parking at what I call the front of the building facing Genesee Turnpike. The one parking lot I thought was on the side, but I call the side of it.
There's no site plan.
There's two.
I have it right.
Can you pull up the site?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That's all I'm suggesting.
Okay. So we'll have Jamie read us through.
So,
It's a, you know, it's a license. Oh,
That's kind of what I'm asking, like, Mr. Cooley, do you wanna park a car there sometimes? Because I hate
if it's licensed.
for you to feel like you
registered,
can't, just to get
Yeah.
this passed, like, when you
Right.
wanna park your truck there sometimes,
Right.
overnight even, I would hate to have that as a
A stipulation.
requirement, if
Well,
that's
I
something
think
you
you're-
wanna do.
They're asking, we have these parking show, and they're discussing, would you like to be able to park your truck there overnight? Or is that not gonna be something that is, they're just considering making it a stipulation of the special use permit?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be part of it.
Overnight, okay.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, 'cause if
Yeah.
you did,
No, I
it would be good
appreciate
to
it,
know.
thank
Yeah.
you, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think he indicated that like in the last meeting.
Yeah, just didn't know if he was doing it, 'cause he was afraid.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, thank you.
okay, so, ready? Okay.
Yes.
So the main question we're answering is, will the project have an adverse effect on adjacent lands, the immediate neighborhood, or on the character of the community? So we're gonna ask the following questions. In this plan, is the community protected from traffic congestion and conflicts, flooding, excessive soil erosion, unnecessary noise, lighting and odors, wasteful energy use, and other forms of pollution?
Yes. Yeah, yes.
Does this plan protect the community from inappropriate design and other matters of scenic and aesthetic significance?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, and I think, not to harp on the overnight parking, but I think we were also thinking to what's there presently. There are a lot of trucks parked there.
Right.
Right now, so just, we wouldn't wanna see that in the future.
I think the other thing is this issue of design was carefully considered by this board, and that should be noted as well. Does the plan ensure that the proposed use will be in harmony with the appropriated orderly development of the district in which it's proposed?
Yes.
Yes, if there's no parking, or anything else,
Well, no, not no parking, but no
overnight parking.
overnight, or like, vehicles or, access.
In the improvements inside.
Yeah,
And then all equipment.
I mean, the goal is to get the equipment inside.
Yes.
With the building, so.
Can any adverse impacts be mitigated by compliance with reasonable conditions?
Yes. Just said, right?
Does the project conform with the town's planning goals and objectives?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are there any other modifications required to,
We had talked about also no outside storage, so not just in general. Again, the purpose of the pool barn is for storage, so
Put everything
put
inside.
everything inside, nothing outside.
so there would be a motion to grant the special permit with the conditions of,
Yeah, and then I also have note. Storage.
oh, that it's.
It's on the plans that it's cold storage on there, yeah.
Okay, so
there are
we had
conditions,
yeah, yeah, so the parking is temporary, no overnight parking of vehicles or equipment. No outside storage. Any items. And.
There are hours on the lighting?
No, there's no-
There's no electric.
No, yeah, no.
There's,
We have electric, there's
Yeah.
not gonna be, it's not gonna be all night, it's only accessing this during daylight hour, work hours.
we should have that on there because it's a residential area, what time it should be lit between and not, if they're or a 0-foot candle.
I mean, I
It
think
is,
that
it's zero,
I think
it's
that-
at the property line.
I think that on the light, I
I
think,
thought we saw that.
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think the light like over the van door would be a problem.
Well, there's
Not-
safety concerns.
and that's
too.
all we did was egress lighting for safety.
Yeah.
Like
Ingress,
wall
egress.
packs,
Yes,
they're
yeah,
on there.
there's just the minimum, and that was our specific request to the light consultant, was the minimum for emergency, and so there's wall pack, I think at each garage door and the man door, and that's it.
So those are on all the time?
Yeah.
During the night, they go off or?
I guess if he were to access it when it was getting dark, that he would turn them on, but I don't think they're going to be left, they won't be left on.
Are they motion, like? Wow, I mean, this isn't progressing it.
Well, I think that any of lighting is on the plan, and it's not, spilling over the property line or in.
Yeah. I'm not, from looking back at the lighting, I personally wasn't concerned with any of the lighting, but I don't know how the rest of
It's likely the light's only on if the owner.
Is it there?
Rent's on the property.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's not motion or whatever, if he is to turn it on, if that's even, he arrives there after, during the winter after 5 o'clock or whatever.
right,
If
Which
that's
I don't
safe
think
to
he
like try
plans.
to turn the lights on.
right. I mean, we can check that it is motion censored, that wasn't the
It's-
original.
I'm not suggesting what
Yeah.
we should do, it's just something that we usually discuss as part
Right.
of this, especially in residential.
Yes, I mean, I really don't think there's much plan to access it after dark, he's not parking there overnight after dark, it's very minimal during daytime business hours, so
I
I
just don't know if it's.
can't imagine. It's just the minimum, again, for
Another
Is
few.
there something basically wrong at this lighting? It's just.
No,
Area
no,
lighting?
yeah, and again, it's, 0-foot candles at the property line, so
Yeah,
hopefully it's, even if it were hypothetically on that whole time, not gonna be a
I don't know,
distraction.
do you guys have the lighting, do you wanna see real quick?
I saw it when
I'm
we
not
got it,
sure
and I
if
have, but not recently, I didn't have a problem with it, I just didn't know if it was something we should be including, if there were gonna be timing that should be in there or not. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, no, I don't know if we need to put any time restrictions on it, because you would need to use it when it's dark. So, I don't know what everybody else thinks. Other than Eric and I.
I just, seems to me it should be operator discretion. So,
Yeah,
I'm unaware of a lighting pattern here that would be egregiously invade the adjacent properties that are in
Right.
that.
yeah,
Just suppose
and
it
everybody around there has.
feels
door
better
light.
having a light over the man door for security purposes,
Yeah.
there's some sense of presence, I can understand that.
Yeah,
I mean, other people have door lighting, garage lighting,
Right there,
garage
just the houses have lighting.
Yeah. I'm okay with not paying anything specifically for lighting. Okay.
Okay, so that's,
So that's the motion I would need, is for those conditions in the special use permit. The 3 that I mentioned.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion made by Erin, second by Don, for the special use permit. With the no overnight vehicles and equipment parking, cold storage only, and no outside storage. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries for the special use permit. Now. Yes, for 7 years, as we typically do. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, and now for site plan. Would you like to make a motion? Okay, motion made by Don, second by Marty, for site plan approval, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
thank
Site
you,
plan approval.
thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I had this for him.
Sure.
Oh, the secret,
I have the secret one.
oh,
But I
the
have
special,
this section, but it doesn't look like they're enumerated.
yeah, as well, okay.
You know what I mean? Think about it better when I can read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
you all set, Ellen?
Yeah, I have this computer for the next project.
Oh,
I haven't
you're
set it
getting,
today.
okay, I didn't wanna,
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I meant, I should have said that. I'm just getting their plan set up
Okay.
when they pop up. Alright, there we go.
all right, so the next item on our agenda is for Bob Modi. This is for the hybrid senior apartments on Hybrid Street in Fayetteville. On for discussion and updates. That's number 093-20-01-0541. This is a planned unit development community.
I don't know when that'll pop up to share, but I have the site plans, layouts
Yeah.
open and stuff,
Yeah,
so.
maybe I should pull that one out.
I should do that.
Scott Freeman, Network Freeman Associates, here for an update. I think the last meeting, we had a project goal with the board to check things out, to see if there were any open items that needed to be addressed prior to the public hearing.
Yeah, so I think we could,
Can we share the
You wanna
plan?
share?
If that's okay.
share your screen.
Oh, am I not seeing?
There you go.
I know, my only options are raising my hand and leaving. I can try to rejoin, maybe that's part of it. Okay. There we go.
I apologize.
Right, and let's. Make all this go away.
It's the parking data chart on this one.
Yes, it should be up here. That's a bit.
We can zoom in on that. Anyway, I guess the reason I pulled up this plan, because I know two of the items that we wanted to discuss. One was sidewalks. Maybe Chris can shed some light on that with his connection and discussions with Brookdale. And the other one is parking. We have the revised parking data chart up there. If you wanted to talk about parking.
Yeah, go ahead, yeah. You wanna start with those two things? Sure.
So, all right, we have 23 one-bedrooms, 1 unit, 1 space per unit. We have 36 1.5 bedrooms, 1 space per unit, that's 36 spaces. We have 43 2-bedrooms, that 1.5 spaces per unit, that's 65. You add that up, that's 124. Then if you add 8 visitor spaces to that number, and then I think we had a little discussion or misunderstanding about staff maintenance. So there's going to be 1 maintenance person that's available 24/7. So he won't be there all day. If someone has like a plumbing concern or a leak on the roof or some maintenance on the grounds, he will be there. But he does not live there, and he's an outside service provider. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we have 1 space, and we're gonna call it out in the plan, maintenance worker space. So we're not double counting.
But we also talked about, you're gonna have, hair salon and.
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Okay.
So I said 2 spaces. The first one I wanted to make clear, everybody understood about 1 maintenance worker. The second one, to Rich's point, is the second space is the hair salon. That hair salon is only for people that live within the building. So there won't be a sign at the road bringing people in from the community to have their hair done. It's strictly within the building, and the square footage of that space is a couple hundred square feet. So it's,
For a chair, a washing station.
Rich, it's just 1 chair,
Just one, yeah.
so you can only have 1.
It's
so
by appointment, it's a singular person by appointment.
Is
Okay.
that a common amenity for
For senior living communities, the more amenities you can have within the space, the better. You're seeing a lot of stylists move around and going to the client rather than the client going to the stylist.
we did Camillus Mills about 10, 15 years ago. And there's a barber shop, has the little spinny thing on it, and there's a men's salon and a women's salon right in the building. And it's actually the same person that shares it, but we're kind of at that tweener size. Like if this was a much bigger facility, there would be, a lot more amenities, but it's not, you can't have a coffee shop and a restaurant, there's just not enough numbers. And the intent, I think we misrepresented that. We're not bringing in the public, we're just providing a service to help people.
If that doesn't get used, would you be looking at putting something else in there that maybe the residents are more interested in?
But it will.
It's your experience to show you
Yeah, with
that.
100 units, still gonna take. Cause they don't have to leave the building.
Yeah. Right.
So to sum that up, our required parking spaces based on our calculations are 124, visitors are 8, staff maintenance, that's 2, that gives us 134. And we have 10 dashed lines within the plans for land bank spaces that we could bring it up to 144 if the board so wishes.
Go ahead.
I would like to see those land bank spaces built, because I think it's pretty tight without it. I'm just one person, but
No, I mean,
That's how I look
the way
at
I
it.
would respond to that, Rich, is it's not objective. No one's right, no one's wrong. It's a comfort level. These facilities in general trend towards lower parking numbers, but there's always that, visit your parent day or, grandparents' day or whatever, you might have more cars there.
And I guess one of the questions I have, and this is kind of getting in the weeds, but it's something I was thinking about, is this is a senior living apartment complex. So what does that mean? And the reason I ask that is I'm 65, my wife's 65, and my 26-year-old son wants to come and live with us because I got a 2-bedroom. Is that permissible? And if it is, how does that affect parking? Or is there rules that say, no, you gotta all be over whatever the age is, 65, 60, whatever. So without really knowing and understanding that, it makes it hard to look at the parking.
So the space and a half for the 2 bedrooms is taken into account that the 2 bedrooms that may have a second occupant could happen in certain numbers of units. A 55-year-old could come and lease here and could have an elder parent who's still living with them and could occupy that second bedroom who's, 75, 80, 90 years old. So for that reason is why we're allocating more parking for those 2-bedroom units for in those instances that those family members.
So let's go back to the baseline. What does senior living mean?
55 and older.
55 and older. Okay.
This is an independent living senior facility. There's no additional care. It's an active senior community, and the baseline set with these independent living communities are 55 and older.
Okay, and this may sound crazy, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. Does that mean both occupants, if it's a 1-bedroom apartment, I'm married with my wife, do we both have to be over 55? Or just one of us? Or, I'm just trying to understand this because it does impact parking, especially if my wife is 45 and she's still working.
That's why we have the space and a half for the 2-bedroom units. They have additional parking.
You're going down a road, like in a shopping center, if we have a certain use versus another use, you're gonna change the requirements of the parking in the town because of different uses, different people. I mean, we're addressing the parking based on the number of units, regardless of who the person is.
Related to this.
Yeah.
Is a renter restricted to 2 vehicles? Is there a number of vehicle limitation on a renter? Do they come in saying you can't have more than 2 in a 2-bedroom? Or is this sort of an agreement amongst credible players?
The ratio of parking is based on historic precedent of similar projects and what we understand that their operations actually are utilizing in terms of, space. So we use that precedent and that information to kind of guide the ratio that we're proposing in this plan here as well.
I agree with all that, but if you had 3 apartments, 2 bedrooms, and you happen to have 3 occupants, all with cars, that I suppose could happen. Is that,
happy about.
Is there a material limitation in the lease?
Done.
But the same thing could happen is that a resident here has 0 cars, right?
I agree,
So-
you may just, averages may work all the time.
Right.
And make this perfect.
Don, let me jump in, if I may. We can put that, and we're
I
going
just know
to,
if you do,
we're
if that's a
gonna put
business
it-
practice or not.
no, it's a fair point, and we're gonna put that in the lease. That you
Okay,
can have
that's-
multiple car, I mean, because you don't want somebody storing their car there that has a antique car.
I just, it's those outliers that show up. If you
Yeah.
haven't kind of thought about it, you end up in a pickle
No,
and no kind of good defense to get back to where you want to be.
yeah, we'll just put it. The reality of it, with the demographics and the type of, because it's upscale luxury seniors, most of those people will have second homes. They're not gonna be there most of the year.
You're-
So,
I think you're right, in the long haul, this will
but we
never
can
show
put to
up.
limit the number.
But
And here's what's gonna happen, if the parking's not there, the resident's not gonna wanna lease there. If you go and you try to sell your unit saying, oh, you've gotta park elsewhere or in a lot, like, there's no parking for you on site, they're not gonna lease the
but
equipment.
the parking lots aren't assigned, at least the open ones are there.
Yeah, underneath, do they have to like pay for the
Underneath
space?
would have to be assigned,
Yes.
because everybody needs to have the parking. space.
Absolutely.
Okay, so they have assigned parking spaces.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Underneath, or
Just underneath.
Yeah, that's a pretty.
Only underneath is a sign.
So going back to the PUD, the PUD was approved with 134 parking spaces. So that is in there in the PUD.
Right.
So, it would just be a matter of our, comfort level, like I was saying,
Layout.
and how that affects,
I mean, I guess really it's a
layout of
business
the
issue for
10
them to
extra
work out.
spaces.
They're not gonna have more than 134 slots, so you've got problems with tenants, that's your business. model.
Well, and they're
Not
banked,
ours.
so they, so if they find that
Can they
they
build the
need
bank?
them.
One's in bank, one is built.
So Rich wants to see the banked ones.
That's what I'm doing, I'm with you, Rich. I
Can they
got you.
build the back ones with the one
So take it to 100.
So, right,
There's 10 extra.
moved on me.
There's some over here and there was
Limited to 134.
Note
That was
13,
approved in the
They have to-
1, 2, 3, 4, there's 6 right there.
I think it could be a note
Okay.
part of site plan.
Because
And
I
then-
put them at 140.
The bank spaces.
There's some here and there's some coming out of
Used to
the,
be
Four by the dumpster.
there's
See
some
right
by the
here.
dumpster,
Yeah,
and there's some coming out of the underneath.
I would just be more comfortable with it.
Well, I
And-
guess the other question is,
There's
do
some
you want them that close to the street?
over there.
yeah.
The ones,
Just
but actually the
say
most
all
recent
of
set, we eliminated the ones closest to the
I
street.
see that.
Based on discussions with the planner, we
Yeah.
were talking about, keeping that town of
I
Manlius
think
look where we
it's
don't.
too dangerous
So
to
it's a
back out.
balance, it's a balance, so you
So
don't
what
wanna
about the four
overpark it
near
or
the
underpark
dumpster?
it.
Keep building out the four near the dumpster.
I would say leave them all as banked, and if they need to build them, it's not the point of banked parking.
And the way the grading plan is designed,
It's ready.
so you'd have to just extend the asphalt, you wouldn't have to cut down trees
Well, you put
or
all these.
reconfigure the whole,
We got a light pole on that one, you might wanna,
yeah, that'll be
That.
fixed.
That's the main part.
so. The other one's okay.
Yeah, so we have site plan approval, so they don't have to, Don's asking if we would have to amend the PUD if it's a different number than 134, but we have site plan approval, so. Put it in there, but
I still wanna know how to decide how many EV spaces.
We
are
had site plan
appropriate.
approval.
we will be making, in our site plan.
Oh, our site, oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said we have,
No,
okay.
Yeah, this board can change the number if we so desire, but I'm actually with Aaron, I think if they're banked, and if they need them.
I'd rather see
They
less
need
impervious area if it's not, it's not needed, it's not needed, that's the whole point of banking.
I think the 1.5 spaces, like, I think that accounts for a good amount, I think the majority of those are gonna be one.
Asphalt's still crazy expensive.
Bill will give you the update. Asphalt costs crazy.
The answer is yes.
No, it's not.
Couple
Well,
$1,000
it depends on how
a
much you're gonna use.
Yeah.
$100 to $120 a ton in
A ton.
place.
And then the last item on parking was where, the design intent on the drawings today is 4 EV ready spaces. That means the conduit the light-based, all that will be provided. And then based on who comes in with what type of car, then we'll decide at a later date when we bring in the actual unit. So it's basically the one unit serves two cars. So we have 4 spaces, 2 units provided. So once we get all our numbers and money and under construction, we'll make that decision. So.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell, I don't know if there's current guidance out there,
It's really wide open.
is it?
It really is.
Do we know? Does the town know? Does the planner have an idea how many are important to have?
It depends who your tenants are, right? I think what Scott just said, when a tenant comes in and they'll weigh that on its own merit, they want the tenant and they'll go to the charger.
Like the company
I
that,
think that's the best thing is.
We've had
Maybe 20, you may need 4.
Yeah, we've had guys come in.
Right?
We've got the salesmen for these units come in and we ask the same questions. What are the guidelines? What are you seeing? And
no one's done it yet.
there's not a, so for schools, it's a little more technical. They're electrifying buses. They're mandating certain things into
I
the
think, yeah,
future.
for
But
this
for private
situation
development,
like
there's
this,
just
yeah.
not a lot out there, but every
I think
project,
that makes sense.
in architecture office, we always
And
try and.
We'll have our electrical engineers size our loads so that the system can expand if necessary, just so that in the future.
Are the studded units on outdoor parking?
Outdoor.
Yeah, it's right on
Possible
the,
to put them in the basement
They're
parking?
right here.
I think
Right,
there's,
that's what I thought.
I
We'll-
think that's a bad thing.
I think there's a lot of questions and hazard, concerns about having charging stations inside the building. And fire departments do not
I
have
mean,
full
maybe
control of fighting
an insurance
these
headache, I
fires.
don't know.
Cause they
So
can
we
like
can-
explode, catch fire and stuff, we'll get nervous about it.
our office standard right now is to keep them on the outside of the parking bay, away from the building. Especially this building, because it's multi-story and it's, be right on the sidewalk.
All the
Alright.
boulders that are there now, what are you gonna do with those?
2 things. One, we're gonna get a large crushing machine, because to ship them off is a lot of money. So, Tobin has a machine that can crush them up and turn them into a nice gradation that could be used to build up the driveway and the pavements. Underneath the whatever we need the building, a lot of the building is cut, but under the building, we do imported structural fill. So we're gonna do that for some of the boulders, and then we're gonna use some of them in the back for that, we'll call it the slope, the falling stone mitigation wall. So we're gonna use them.
It's really low in the back. Pardon? It's really low in the back, the base seal. So we're gonna push some of that outside the footprint of the building in the back to spill.
Cause they'd have to test it to use it under the pavement,
Right. But not in the back of the building.
not as
That's-
compressed.
Yeah, we would put it under.
So let's keep going through the list, Scott.
Yep, so I guess on your, based on your response, multi-story building, you guys were in agreement with, what we did, saying it was attractive architecturally, so that's an agreed comment. Number of parking spaces, we covered that. Electric, BEV units, we discussed that, item 3. Item 4, details for the structural wall behind the building. We reached out to the structural engineer, Joe King, and he's going to be prepared and to present something. We're gonna make like a mini slideshow, so we're not just talking about it, we're gonna have some images. Sheet pile wall, yeah. And I can have Andy talk about it a little bit.
Just give us the detail and actually we need a PowerPoint, just the detail.
Yeah, Alex, what page is that on?
I mean, it looks to me like a simple sheet pile. with
There's a
just
picture,
little
there's a picture, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Cap on it.
yeah, so the reality is, Anthony's in the parking garage.
It's that
The
simple.
grade is here, the wall is here. People looking out are only gonna see a portion of the wall if they're looking down. Your primary view when you're in the back of the building, looking at the hillside, your view is hillside. If you're in the parking garage, your view is gonna be sheet pile wall. I know when you look at a sheet pile wall, you're gonna say, who wants to look at that? Well, the only person that's really gonna look at it primarily is out of the garage. So, yeah, there's no windows down there.
But I think it's, I think
The
it's.
sections were very,
Yeah, yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here's what it's gonna look like.
As long as you get through that.
So this is just a generic, but if the lower face of that wall, if you go 12 feet over, that's gonna be the same grade as the parking garage. So if you go up 10 feet from grade, you're gonna be looking at maybe a portion of the wall. And then a hillside it has existing vegetation on
I
it.
guess, is that just a bad photo?
It's an existing photo.
Like, it's just like, it looks rusty and like orange.
That's what that steel does.
It turns that color as it ages.
If you go in the Adirondacks, it's all over the place. Some people like it, some people not so much, but it's kind of a natural, instead of a shiny
I'm
steel.
assuming it looks better than it's coming across the photo, just for.
No,
So what-
that's actually what it looks like.
So what Scott's describing is Corten steel.
Thank you.
And it ages and the rust protects the steel. The problem that you have, they no longer use it in the Adirondacks.
All right.
Because if you have freeze thaw abrasive on it for a structural component, there are case studies that the steel fails. So if you use Corten steel, this probably would be a good application for Corten steel, because you're probably not gonna have a lot of up and down. Once you set the sheeting, it's gonna be in place. And they're, at least not excited, I know, you can come up with a nice detail for a cab.
And then we also talked about having some vegetation be able to kind of grow up the backside and down over the face of it. It becomes kind of a green kind of landscape wall with some, you know, like.
I think it's good.
That'll be,
type of vine.
I think that'll be a little harder to pull off.
It just does me look like a little bit like a junkyard, but that's just my own
Well, it can be-
negativity about it,
Some
I
people-
guess. I don't know.
Some people have gardens in their backyard. They buy Corten steel planters. They love it.
It's a
But-
modern.
But you
it's a
would get
more
the painted
modern
white ones,
looking
but that's okay.
material.
It just makes that like, I don't know, maybe it's the contrast with the dead looking grass.
I guess what I would say to the board, if you look at the whole site, it's like a 1%
I'm sure it's
view
gonna
out the
look
back.
fine, I just, the picture just maybe.
Well, Joe's gonna come next month. We're gonna describe what we're gonna do, and I
Okay.
just wanna put it in perspective. It's a limited view item.
And I think that some of it will be dictated by the recommendations of the structural and geotech for all that stuff, I feel like.
He's gonna solve for X. He's not gonna,
It's an unusual, it's not your everyday slope and not your everyday situation. So
no, he'll go into great detail and answer all your questions on that.
it can look good.
Next.
I guess National Grid, when we get closer to construction, we will work that out, but that's something. We're probably 75, 85, 95% through our site drawings. Truthfully, there's a lot of design work that has to happen inside the building after site plan approval. So that those power needs, National Grid does not tolerate, hey, we're in this range. They don't want that. They want the answer. So we have a little more work to do on that. So typically, after site plan approval, we can report back with that, but we're not gonna build a building that's underpowered. We have, our MEP has called into grid, but they're not gonna give us anything formal in writing until they have a full contract with MEP and design the whole system. But we're not gonna design a building and not be able to turn the power on.
There's sufficient power at the street, we'll just throw a transformer out, which we call out towards the street side there, that'll all be completely screened.
Yeah, that's on the plans.
Do you guys wanna talk about the road?
Road and sidewalks, he's the guy.
And the road and the sidewalk?
I'll help you with the visuals here.
I mean, I'll start with the sidewalk. I know a year and a half ago, longer than that, I was in discussions with Brookdale. And it's a two-part team. There's Brookdale and there's another entity that owns the site, which Brookdale leases it, I believe. But in any event, we got an agreement in place about Gramercy Circle and its dedication, as well as a sidewalk along the road. At that time, I wasn't aware of access, I assume it's pedestrian foot, not vehicular, between the two parcels.
Let me start one at a time, Chris.
Okay.
Here's the road, and
Yeah.
that's, Bill just checked it out. That's, how long is that?
218 feet.
Okay, so we have an agreement in place already signed with the adjacent property owner, both the tenant and the landlord, owner and tenant, that sidewalk is permitted. We have to maintain it, we have to construct it, but we have the right to put it there and maintain it and use it.
It's on,
That's already-
it's on Brookdale property. The reason it's not in the right of way is because that road does not have a curb. It'd be unsafe to build a sidewalk with no curb. So we have a there's a little green space, and then the property line, and then that's where our sidewalk is.
So that's already been agreed to by the parties.
Okay.
So those rights exist.
So then,
Then we go to the.
well, I just want to finish the sidewalk discussion, so everybody gets it. There we go, right. And then there's a little portion of sidewalk that gets into Gramercy Circle. See that little arc portion? That's right away concrete, so.
Right, and so that was envisioned in our discussions with Brookdale, that they would like this dedicated. So they entered in an agreement with us that they would cooperate and agree to dedicate their portion of Gramercy Circle to the town.
That's mainly this one down here. That one's in the right of way, so the one that you're talking about right here is the one right down here.
All the way up to the road.
Yeah, where it crosses from our property to their property, that little
Yes.
piece of sidewalk.
Yes.
The Gramercy Circle agreement is with both the owner and the tenant.
That's correct.
Okay.
And it has,
That's been signed
that has been signed, May 2024.
to dedicate it to the town.
That is correct.
And
They will sign-
whatever work needs to be done to the roadway to bring it up to spec, who's doing that?
That's our responsibility.
Okay. 100%.
All right, yep.
Oh, yeah.
We agreed to that. And they, in exchange, and I believe that that's what, I mean, I know that's what they want done. I didn't have many discussions with the attorneys about it, but that's what they have agreed to.
And can you zoom out and just show exactly what portion of it, because I know we're really zoomed in. So it cuts off just before their, like, just after their property, as to what will be dedicated and as far as sidewalk, the whole, but
Is
then,
this
you know, like
sidewalk?
the part that goes up to their front entrance. Like, it's just gonna be, that's theirs. Grammar.
That's there. That, they understand that to
Like the
stay
part in
private,
The part in the gray,
yes.
okay.
Well, the
down
part
by
by the part by the road, you'd be dedicating the road and the sidewalk to the town of Manlius. So you have I guess if you're in the city of Syracuse, one thing I would
Right.
tell the board is who's
Yeah, yeah.
responsible, here it is, who's snow plowing the road?
Right.
The sidewalk.
Mhm.
So you have a sidewalk that's on our property, on Brookdale's property, with permissions being worked out with Brookdale, and then we have another piece that's in the proposed right of way. We, our design team, are under the impression that we're going ahead with a public road. So we got a public road, you also have a public sidewalk, because the public sidewalk is within the right of way. And then when you go down to the lower part, we have a private sidewalk that we're building on Brookdale's property. So you have three types of sidewalk.
And what's the assumption on maintenance of the sidewalk in the right of way?
Well, if the right of way is that, if that's part of the dedication, then it would be owned by the town.
The town's not gonna wanna come out here and plow this tiny piece of sidewalk.
Okay, then we'll, I don't know the specific description of the sidewalk easement as it relates to our agreement, but I don't think our concept and what we always proposed and they agreed to is we would maintain the sidewalk. If the town doesn't wanna maintain the sidewalk, and our client's fine with it, if it's not already encompassed in the agreement, then I don't think they're gonna care whether we maintain another 10 or 12 feet.
In which agreement?
We have an agreement with Brookdale. Are we talking about the sidewalk up by
Sidewalk
Highbridge?
up there.
Up by Highbridge.
Yeah.
That's coming this way.
I'm kinda talking about all of it. to be
Well,
honest,
well,
we're not talking about just three different
things,
pieces.
yeah.
There's, why don't we start at the
To
top?
get there.
Yeah,
Go
so
along the road,
along the road is already agreed to that we would build it and maintain it.
The gray part.
The gray part.
Yes.
As to whether it's gray part and more, I can't specifically say. We said we would do the sidewalk in that general location. Has it specifically the gray or is it a little bit more in the Gramercy Circle? The end result is the same. They will not have an issue with us constructing and maintaining the sidewalk as it relates to Gramercy Circle up to Highbridge and down Highbridge.
Is there a
And is
note
that-
on the plan to that effect?
On our plan,
Yes.
no, there will be, we never had this discussion.
Okay.
So now, the $1 million question, and I really answer, is you're probably gonna wanna
Plans
have,
still say sidewalk easement to village amenities.
Yeah, right
It
there.
said it last
in the
month,
red.
it says it this month. Whatever it says, it ought not to say that.
Okay, so there will be no easement to the town. And the
As far
easement
as
is between
sidewalk.
private, as to the sidewalk, the easement will be private between the parties, and it will be our responsibility.
and the sidewalk that goes past the gray and into the white is in the right of way, you're gonna want the same guy to plow that, you're not gonna have two separate
Yeah.
plowers.
He's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
So that'll be our
That's in the right
responsibility
of
too.
way.
And then everything on Brookdale property, they will snow plow going down to the circle, and they will snow plow one side of the circle, and we will snow plow the other side of the circle.
Wait.
See this part?
Sidewalk?
The whole, this is a dedicated here, this is on our
We're talking
property.
sidewalks.
Yeah, the sidewalk.
Oh,
Talking
sidewalk.
I
sidewalk.
don't wanna get, I mean, Brookdale is not here tonight, and I'm not speaking for Brookdale, they've maintained this site for how many years? And I don't believe the town has ever had an issue with Brookdale that I'm aware of. To now mandate on them, I mean, they're gonna do what they've always done.
And
As
you do
to
the-
us, we will maintain what is on our property as it relates to sidewalks.
These
Okay,
two parties
but are
will
you,
work this out.
just to clarify, are you also, because of your agreement with Brookdale, going to maintain their piece that's in front of their property?
Yes. It's in the gray part.
The great part is already agreed
We already
to.
talked about that.
Yeah, I'm saying if there's a sidewalk anywhere else other in the gray area and up to Gramercy Circle, and it's on Brookdale's property and it's a sidewalk, it's on Brookdale to handle.
Yes, sure,
Yeah.
sure, of their piece,
Okay.
got that, that's not an issue.
Okay.
So just as far as the note that's gonna go on the plan,
Mhm.
right, is going to be that the sidewalk shown on parcel, whatever the address is, will be maintained by, will be built and maintained by what's your name? Highbridge Senior Apartments.
Easiest way to clarify that, if we're building it, then we're gonna maintain it. So if we put
Well,
it in.
that's, I'm just saying we wanted it in a note, that's all, I'm fine.
So when we, if, I should say if, and when we are to dedicate Gramercy Circle, it's gonna not include the sidewalk area?
That is correct.
My recollection, I may be wrong, Highbridge is a county street, county road.
I don't know.
I believe
Yes.
I think it
Yes,
is.
it's county, Alex is doing
Okay,
that.
so has the county agreed to put that sidewalk in their right of way?
No.
It's not
Not the
in
right
the-
of way, we're outside the right of way.
We're on Brookdale's
It's
property.
on
We're on
Brookdale's
Brookdale's property.
Yeah, we're specifically
Yeah,
doing
it's
that for
unsafe.
safety reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
My first place would be to put it there, but there's no curb, so.
And if I recall correctly, this is something the town wanted, to
Yeah.
extend the
Yeah.
walkability
Yes.
of the town. So
Yes.
that's why it's there.
It's
Correct.
John Deere's explanation was give
It's
the
close to
village
the
a place to
village.
connect it to.
Yeah.
If you don't build this, there'll be less of an
It's
interest.
a
This is a
common
good,
practice.
Yeah,
it's a
And-
bargaining point for the
and this
county
is
to finish it.
close to the village. I mean, it's
Yeah.
getting there,
I think
and then you
that's
have the
what-
sidewalks in the village. You have something in between, but it's
Yeah.
getting you there.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yes,
Go get that.
and that's why it's
Okay,
there.
so that's
Alright.
easy. First piece, that's gonna be the first note. Second note is going to be Gramercy Circle,
You zoom out.
shown on the plan to be dedicated, built to the town specifications and
Absolutely.
dedicated to the town, right? So that's that piece. Third is a small piece of sidewalk that's on the,
It goes beyond the Highbridge property to the Brookdale pavement as a connector to the existing, I gotta zoom in.
show me what you should do.
I gotta zoom in.
Use the hand.
So right, you see the arc part with, see where note E is? That sidewalk is on Brookdale property.
Here.
That little triangle below is on Highbridge property. So where note E is across the street, they have an existing sidewalk that dead ends. This was Valerie's idea months ago. She said, connect them, which is a good idea. So if you had somebody that wanted to walk from facility to facility, you could now go from Brookdale down that little slope across to Brookdale.
Where's our property line?
Is this a
That's an
Right,
existing.
that thick line.
Somehow
That's the property.
Oh, okay.
This is their drawings, this is not.
And where's their sidewalk in now?
Right on, by the E.
E,
On the front top E?
Yeah.
Can you come show on?
Right there.
Right there, not the bottom. Okay,
And you're adding this piece to
so
connect, and this piece goes on.
There you
when,
go, got a point.
when we did this agreement,
There we go.
You got it?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, we need, go ahead.
So this is Brookdale, I mean, this is High Ridge, this is Brookdale. So we're coming down the hill on High Ridge, and then we're constructing this section of the sidewalk on Brookdale. And this is the existing drive, we're just repaving that a little bit, but that walk up there is existing. That was a dead end walk for Brookdale. Now we've connected, this is all proposed, so we will maintain this. And Chris is working out permissions for that crosswalk.
So complicated for something so reasonable.
Well, it's kind of like, it's a PUD site, it's mixed
Yeah.
use, so all these permissions, they're important.
So what about if people wanna walk, and I guess this is a Brookdale thing, but this new chunk of sidewalk on their property doesn't connect to their building. So that's up to them if they want.
no, yes, I need to talk to them about it, but
Down there.
I don't know why they'd have an issue when they agreed to a sidewalk along the front of the property on High Bridge.
But that's all, in their-
Theoretically.
that's all in their property, so.
It is, I just was curious
No,
if it
when that
was-
moment came, all they would need to do is, sites, yeah, connect it.
Scott, can you zoom out?
Can you zoom out now?
Jamie wants to see what's below on the High Ridge property.
Oh, the parking lot.
Nope, not there,
You
at
want
High
us to be more
Ridge, at
careful,
High Ridge,
right?
Out at the road.
at the road, at the road, because now we have note number 3, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Different. The sidewalk ends, correct? Is that what I'm looking at?
The sidewalk
The town-
on
or the-
Brookdale ends before our property line.
Oh, you wanna go there? Yeah. You wanna go right,
Right there. So.
that crosswalk continues across.
That's on the High Ridge property.
But it does, and then it stops.
Yeah, that's,
Well, it goes to the
no, it keeps
building.
going, goes to the building.
But not along the road, there's walkability along the road.
No, it ends at Gramercy, it doesn't go beyond.
It ends at Dartmoor, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It doesn't go any further, I
goes down High Bridge to Dartmoor now.
Okay. Understood.
So, yes, I need to discuss with Brookdale the connection of sidewalks as it, away from High Bridge. That was not, we weren't aware of that issue till recently.
So
We might not.
I understand that. I mean, right, we're going to, do this public hearing. And then we have a few things, right? We'll be back again. I think that we can just make it, just approve this plan. And then if something happens and you can't get it, then come back and we'll talk about it. But I don't see us for this kind of thing holding up the whole project.
That would be like a.
No, it would just be, we're approving it like this and if.
Yeah, to satisfy the conditions.
If you can't get it done, then come back.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if
and
you're gonna-
I don't foresee an issue with it. I think, I didn't really want to go into they're very challenging, and I didn't want to go with them multiple times. It took very long time to get where we are with them, and to keep piecemealing it would not go well, I didn't think.
Right.
So now that I'm understanding everything that I need to do, which is really just the connectivity of the sidewalk away from High Bridge, I don't foresee an issue, except for it take a little bit of time.
Okay. Well, we're talking about legal stuff.
Wouldn't stop you from moving forward with the rest of the project.
No.
No, now, if you told me that this road wasn't gonna be dedicated, that could potentially be an issue for them.
I don't think that's up to
Well,
us.
the discussions that we've had with, supervisor's office and the town attorney. It looks, yes, they're gonna go through the steps and,
Have you seen the legal documents that were discussed tonight?
no, and I don't need to. Because it's the town board.
I have shared them with the town board, just so you know,
Okay,
and I have no problem sharing them with Jamie if she feels
I
it's
don't
necessary.
need to see them.
okay, because it's a town board issue, and they're gonna approve it or not approve it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
their attorney.
You know, Chris wants to pay me and I'll review them and I'll fill out some time to send them over.
But just to clarify, the town board attorney has.
Correct.
I have provided them
Yeah,
to the town board, yes.
Okay, so while we're talking about legal, we've talked about the sidewalks, and Scott, I know you have a list too, but I'm actually using the list from our minutes too.
Oh, that's great,
Um,
great.
so we also said provide legal descriptions for easements, stormwater, sidewalks, etc. So we did sidewalks.
Yeah, stormwater, I mean, typically we, I'd say we wait, but I mean, Doug,
Yeah, I got some minor comments, but one of the things you may want to look at, Jamie, is inside the documents, it references several different kinds of easements, and I think your office needs to look at it, Scott, to see what you're really trying to say, because it talks about access easements, and it talks about cross easements to Brookdale. Traditionally, what we've done, for an easement, an additional easement over the ponds to the town, so if the town has to get it at some point, that's been in there too, but what I'm reading on this is some of the runoff comes from Brookdale, some of it comes from High Bridge, and there has to be cross easement to prevent the use of the
Drainage.
Yes,
yeah, the only way water leaves our site is through their site, because we can't go uphill towards Hybrids. The only way it leaves is through the existing basin, and that's what, you know, when Doug had finished his comments, our engineer did drainage calculations for Brookdale plus ours to make sure when their flooding event happens towards the back, our flooding event can work together to flood to leave the site and meet the standards.
And I think those easements are in place.
Well, to Doug's point, we have them mapped out generically, but we need to take it to
it's
a deeper level.
confusing, Chris, it doesn't, it's not right. But it just needs a thought process to go through.
Yeah.
It's all,
Yeah, yeah. There are notes on the drawings, notes.
Double send
If you-
Yeah, okay. All right,
But it looks like a lot, I mean, right, I mean, it looks like this site is an old gravel bed. And the infiltration rates are extremely high. So there are a lot of the events.
Yeah.
But there is, to Scott's point, there is a point, you know, underneath certain storm events where there is an outlet down behind our.
Kind of have to identify that, whether you think it's gonna go there or not.
Well,
Oh, what, really, it'll go out, what storm will you top out?
A big one. I didn't memorize, I'm sorry, I didn't memorize.
Hundred
no,
year storm.
Scott's right, it's a big one.
There was one in Wisconsin, 1,000-year storm rate.
Oh, and that, like, not one you normally.
It just, I don't know what the exact number is, but
Is it over 100?
probably could be. I mean, to Doug's point, we do, say if we've done 100 basins, this is 1 in 100 that drains vertically, maybe 2 in
Is
100.
it draining too fast?
It's draining just right for groundwater. For a septic system, you don't want it to go quick. For groundwater, it goes quick as it wants.
all right, so I've got 4 other things on my list, and Scott, you can
Sure.
say what you have on yours, but it was more details and stuff on the drawings for the fire pit, pavilion,
Yep.
pickleball court, and the golf cart storage and information.
So pickleball court, we put an asphalt pavement section in, we called out fencing and we called out products. So that's on there. We picked out a fire pit's gonna be propane. We have a manufacturer's image of that based on owner's preference. And then we picked out a pre-manufactured structure image for the pavilion. When we get to a certain point, we understand that pavilion would have to be sized accordingly for footings and other things, which Anthony's office would take care of. So that's a construction detail with a footing, so we can't construct anything we want out there, so we're working on
And
selecting.
we said that on the drawing, will be shown on the drawing.
Yeah, it's on the
So
drawing.
Are you gonna take it to the next level of design from just, the image that you want to have the details on the drawings by the time you're here for the public hearings?
You want to see foundation details for those elements?
That's an engineering question, but I just wanna know if you're gonna be gone, if you're moving past just the image that you want to show to the actual product that you wanna use. Because sometimes it's great, you show a picture of what you like or whatever, and then as you start looking at things, you find out costs, you find out requirements, you find out things and they can change. I just wondered if you're gonna be to the end, if you're gonna have those details brought up to the same level of detail as all the rest of the details in the project by the time you're here for the public hearing.
I think the products that were selected is an actual product. It's not
Okay.
something- Yeah, so I think.
So they'll give you details and you can get them all on the drawings and it won't just be a picture.
If you want to see the details, we can provide.
I think it's better than showing a picture. Because then it's signed into the drawings, signed into the record.
Erin, was that something that you asked for last time, or was it Doug?
Don't want
I did.
Okay, that's right, I mean, that's Doug, but you're talking about it.
I wanted to see
Okay.
more thought put into the way that the amenities were connected and used and detailed and stuff, because a lot, and they had said future on them. rather
We
than-
took that off, we had actual pickleball, actual
Yeah.
barbecue pit, we have actual, or fire
Those were
pit.
my comments, and it's just a matter of bringing it up to the same level of
Yeah.
professional as the rest of it, and, yeah, I think you did that, I saw.
Well, I have to ask a question, I'm on a line between getting site plan approval with you guys and these guys not firing me. What if we change our mind? What if we don't wanna do a fire pit? Is that okay? Would that jeopardize the whole project?
Then,
What if we decide to go with an open pavilion instead of a shade structure? I'm just throwing it out
well,
there.
that's why we're here, because these are all things that are part of the site plan.
Yeah,
And
well,
so,
but what if we start with something and they decide to do 2 barbecue pits or no barbecue pits?
Well, I guess I see what you're saying, because like a fire pit is a fire feature, you know,
Right.
like, and I can see like, well, we have to get,
I don't think we have to get into the weeds
Yeah.
about how many, but we could have fire pit area.
yeah.
Yeah.
5 or 10 or whatever is in that area.
Yeah, I'm just throwing it
I
out
can
there.
see
I mean,
where-
I'm just
yeah.
being a real estate, and I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but I've seen these projects where you start with one and they say, hey, we want an elevated fire pit, we gotta put some more engineering into it, a bigger paved area.
well, that's why
In
I'm
other
bringing it
projects, they
up,
might,
because I know how that happens.
Yeah.
Or you decide that it's not what you want and you don't wanna do it at all and it goes away. And those aren't things that we approve the project on. So I'd like to see the same amount of detail and thought put into some of these things as into some of the rest of it. So we're here, we're done, it's signed, you're building it, you're moving on. So often the site stuff falls away because, it's, oh, well, you don't think a whole lot about it and stuff. But these are a lot of the things that the people who come and wanna live here are looking at.
well, that's, the owner wants to have a little.
Why can't you pick it now?
Well, because there's a lot of, we don't know what the makeup, you might get more older people, more younger people, you might get more men, you might get more women. I'm just advocating for just a little flexibility, but if you want it the way you
Well,
want it, we
just-
can do it.
I know the flexibility, I agree, have a little flexibility in
Yeah.
what you're doing, because you don't know. I mean, I don't
And
think that's
and I would spec a 10 by 20 product, and I can give you more than an image, but it takes a lot of time to get the footings right, the finishes right on this. I could spend 150 hours on a pavilion, and
And it's not available.
then they decide, oh, this isn't available, we want something smaller. So I'm just trying to reach for the middle ground, because I don't want this
I like the
planning
idea
process to extend out too long
Yeah.
on a
Of a
pavilion and a
picture.
fire pit.
and a size. I don't need to see footing details for a pavilion, but it's so often like something changes entirely with it. And it would be nice to know that there's a commitment to say a certain thing. Because these are the details that really give a lot of meaning to a lot of these
Oh,
places.
and we agree, I mean, the goal here is we're not a fast food mart, we're just trying to get in and get out. Our clients want a high level of finish, I'm just advocating for a little flexibility, that's all.
It's not
What
about,
other?
We're not gonna not do things, that's
Before,
not
yeah,
my,
before you go through all that, what do other, like, Arnie, Rich, what do you guys think?
It's like, can you have some kind of outdoor activity area?
Yeah.
Why do you get one that's specifically on a pickleball? That's today's popular event.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Could be
sand
bocce ball.
volleyball for people who show up. And
Shuffleboard.
I don't, the rigidity to some respect, because this is what people expect today. Your marketing, I'm okay with it at one level, but at another level, I sort of understand, well, when we go to do the building, do we need something we thought about 6 months ago? And our plan, our sense for market is now somewhat, we need an outdoor activity thing. Is it pickleball? Is it, I don't know.
Bocce.
I'm gonna say
Bocce,
shuffleboard,
shuffleboard,
something
there's a
like
lot of
that.
choices there.
I'm much less concerned about what sport it is than the fact that you have
The
something
place,
there
the place
that's
Yeah.
sized for
It's
what you
correct.
think you wanna do right now. You're showing those details
interests
that
me
you
more
wanna
than
do.
pickleball.
Yeah.
It's a hard label today that you have to carry forward for the next 36 months.
I agree. I mean, I really don't care. To show where the area is one thing, but what it is gonna be, I don't care.
Well, part of that is the site plan, and that is what we're here to do.
I understand, but if they say we're gonna put a pickleball court in, and they decide differently a year from now, 2 years from now, does that mean they have to come back for an amended site plan?
It depends
That's
on
a
how,
question I don't know.
They wanna put tennis
That-
courts in?
yes, that is what it would
See,
be.
that's what I think is.
But remember, this board is site plan, right? Now, whether that's an important enough feature, or if you wanna just say future recreational area, and the most important thing is we want to landscape trees around it, okay, and whatever goes on in there goes on in there.
See, I think that,
You
to
know?
me, that's more reasonable than assigning, it's gonna be pickleball.
I don't care if it's pickleball or badminton or crocheting, it's that you've got a thing here that shows this. Because otherwise what happens is the project gets going and all of a sudden, there's no money, and they're saying, what are we gonna do? Well, we can get rid of that, but
It
we'll
might
build
be
it
no
later.
money, it could be a change of interest.
It could be a change
Could be a
of
lot of
interest,
different
but
things.
it's not, but that's the thing, is that we're approving this whole plan because you're providing a vision of a place where people are
Yeah.
gonna be, and that includes outdoor spaces. And it's not just because I'm a landscape architect, it's because I've seen so many times how this stuff goes.
Well, I'm gonna bring up an example. We have another project, right, where we made them show where their little dock was, their little bunkhouse, and exactly where it was gonna be, and where the path, you know, the picnic tables and the paths. And that was very specifically determined by this board to be important element.
Yeah,
But is this an
But I think
important
we saw
element?
what
That's
we-
not for me to decide, but it's for this board to
so we
decide.
also did see like a picture of pavilion, we saw a picture of fire, like, you get an idea is fine, but I don't need to see the exact. Like,
I guess I'd like
maybe
to.
the exact fire pit, like, if you
I-
wanna
I-
make it a
I
little
appreciate
smaller,
that,
a little
and-
bigger, I guess, like, the idea that there will be a fire pit. The buildings are gorgeous, this is tasteful, it's going to all match, the only thing that maybe looks a little different is that sheet pile wall, but not kidding.
But-
But,
I love it.
We're gonna pay money.
No.
I'm glad you're not,
It'll look
I'm glad you're not
good. It'll look good.
55.
I'm totally.
Another dig.
So
But anyway, so I
the
don't know.
thing is
somewhere
that
in the
it's
middle,
just
but-
not brought through to the same level of design as the rest of it. If you wanted to pick out a fire pit that you think suits the needs of your anticipated tenants now, and you put that on the drawing, if you get to construction and find out that they're not making that one anymore, and you need to find a comparable one, it's like in a specification, right? It's an approved equal, basically, type situation. And no one's gonna sit around and say, well, that has this finish and that has that finish. You're providing an 8-foot fire pit that's fed by propane, and there's a detail on here, and that's what that is. If you get to construction, as you know, you can't get this, you can't get that, you're providing an equal.
There it is,
Something
right
that's
there.
approved.
There's a fire pit.
And
Right.
who's determining,
Well, that's something that
when
happens
we come
after.
back?
No.
The code.
But that's something that happens on every single construction project. During the process of once things are awarded and you're moving forward, like, that's something that happens after the approval is done. I mean, that's a gray area that I don't wanna get into, but like, to show this is the pergola that we want. We can't get these end cuts, cause that lumber's too expensive, we wanna switch to a, like some other kind of wood. That is a lawyer thing to decide what's substantially different or not, but these things happen all the time in the real world. But to have something on here that's more than just a picture, I think is important. Whether it's pickleball or some other sport thing, I don't think that part is as important as the fact that you've got the details to build the facility and there's a value assigned to that. It's biddable and that contributes to the whole
What
value
we
of the project.
don't wanna do is at this stage get into CDs and designing
No.
these things. So really, if we just label these areas as future outdoor activity space, and then as the market evolves, because by the time this is built, maybe people aren't playing pickleball. And we say, we're not building pickleball, but we put something else in. I
Right,
mean, obviously, it's in our best interest to have.
but building something, because that is the
Well,
important.
we're gonna have to have it.
There's a partial plan for a shade structure and a pickleball court, but that rectangle could be bocce ball,
Of
it
course,
could be shuffleboard, it
and
could
it
be,
might change, you might
it could be
build
a
one
garden,
in
it could be a
5
garden
years
area, we don't
now.
know what it's gonna
Wouldn't that come back here and build for?
Yeah, so we'll just label and designate that area as future outdoor activity space.
I don't think we can have
I'm
future
more
outside
concerned that
now.
you build.
What's that,
something.
or
No future.
I think we just need to have an understanding what you want,
designate
minimally
outdoor
right
activity
now.
I
space?
don't wanna waste another week.
Yeah, thank you.
because we had future last meeting and now we changed
Yeah,
it to a
we gotta
detailed
take-
plan.
Yeah,
I think-
don't put future back on.
It's stepping it back a little bit from the detail of the sport and the detail of whatever, but it's showing that this is our spot, we're putting this, don't put future on it because that'll never happen. Because it'll get cut.
I just like to leave that, because we put a lot of work into it, it works.
Well, now you can use it on
Great,
another
leave it.
project and they
Yeah.
pay for it.
We already
Leave
did, we did, no, they didn't pay for it, it was from
Oh,
the
leave
school
it,
project.
leave it. Yeah, I'd say leave it, I think then if it goes to then you go through the building permit process, and if it's something that is flagged, it has to come back.
So it sounds like the pavilion, Anthony, and I will work on a hybrid, based on the information you've given us, Anthony, we'll come up with something that doesn't have footing design, but will have
And
something.
just have a note that says footing's appropriate for whatever, like that, it's not, that is a code thing, that if code requires that, I don't know, but to have a,
For this kind of, for this part of a project, that would seem appropriate.
yes.
Alright,
Okay, we
Yeah.
digressed a little
that's
bit.
it, yeah, just, and with that was the golf cart.
I think we added a note before it was two dashed lines underneath the overhang, we added some notes that said golf cart,
And a charger.
parking area, and we also added a recharge note,
Okay.
so there'd be allowed there to recharge the units. And we'll coordinate that with our MEP.
Or just hopefully they don't hit the posts when they're driving in and out of that little area. Bumpers on the golf cart.
They're not alcohol golfers, so hopefully
Doesn't
we're a
matter.
step above that.
They're old.
Alright, is there anything else on your list, Scott?
We just had the county submission, so I was just gonna follow up on that, did you guys
They
agree?
said they did not wanna see it.
Okay, that's
So-
good. Parking summary we went over, slope stability report, Joe's gonna come next meeting, EV chargers.
Are there any other outstanding issues?
This isn't really an issue, but going L30, I'm just interested, you have a proposed drainage easement to Brookdale over the High Ridge property. And then you get onto the Brookdale property, in gray, there's a proposed drainage easement still labeled the Garden Park Apartments.
Well, great
They probably want to change that name. I'm just interested, why does Brookdale need an easement over the upstream property?
I'll work that out with Doug, but that whole system works. It's a reciprocal, it's a shared drainage area.
That's pretty much,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
that's
fine.
pretty much what I talked about, is there, when you look at what they put together, both properties benefit from all the ponds on the facility. So Chris is gonna have to come up with some type of agreement that works for both.
So the SWIP kind of requires this mutual loading between these upstream and downstream properties.
And then the other part that has to be in there is the maintenance of it, right? So you want to all maintain it fluently, so whose responsibility is that? Who's taking on what now?
And then-
Because the way they presented it, they all come together, and they're all working unison.
Well, and
If one doesn't work, if one part of it doesn't work, then the other part doesn't.
like if they didn't
So you're spot
maintain,
on, John.
if they didn't maintain this and there was a problem and it backed up and then blew through or backed up over this way or did something like that, these people would need the right to come in and fix that, so their property didn't
But
get damaged.
Garden Park needs to become hybrid, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Are
it's
you
called
finished with
three,
the full note?
it's called three
Yeah.
different,
As well as on the notice.
I got the milling note.
yeah, it's called three different things throughout all the documents, it's just gotta be.
Okay.
And then all the information that we're talking about now, okay, aside, we have the survey would have updated easements that were complementary to the legal agreements written.
I've got one more.
What's that?
comment.
Yes. Go ahead, Rich.
You know, we've been involved in this property, Doug, for what, 20 years, 25 years? And one of the problems we've always
We've
had.
approved it 2 or 3 times, we've approved different projects here.
Oh, yeah. And one of the problems we've always had is that entrance roadway, Gramercy Way. And before this board votes on approving a site plan, I'd like them to consider putting a number of days, a period of time of if that road doesn't get transferred to the town, accepted by the town, within 180 days, 90 days, some period of time, then the site plan approval is,
Well, it is a condition, it is a,
but
it
you need
is,
to put a date on it. You can't just say it's a condition. It can go on for 10 years.
no, it won't, they can't get a C above. I mean, that's it, it's gonna be
Yeah, because you wouldn't have
It's gonna be-
access to the building.
the requirement of the plan. Yes, that,
The transfer wouldn't be complete until construction, the upgrades are done to the road anyway, and that happens at the very end.
So Doug, we'd have binder on it for a while and then you wouldn't sign off on it until we had the
No,
top on
that's
it?
not what happens to the town of Manlius.
Okay,
It all gets built at one time.
it's when the
And the
top,
highway-
when it's all done?
And the highway department
The
has.
highway department has determined that he doesn't take roads with binder on it anymore.
My only point is, it's gonna take longer, because we don't wanna put the top course on until.
No, he wants the top course on.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is just gonna take a longer time, because we don't wanna put the top course on too early.
No, he wants it on. He wants it all built at once, not, he wants it on early,
Okay,
while you're still building the rest of the site. Yes.
okay, well, then it would be good to know what your window, that's a great question, we don't know what the window is, and we wanna put it into our schedule.
Exactly, and that's all I'm saying is that it needs to be date certain, I guess
And you
you'd
put
say.
the,
Yeah, I mean, Rob wants the whole thing built at once, he doesn't go for this.
I believe
Yeah, I
that.
want to wear the binder, because it turns into a year, 2 years, 3 years, so.
Then you got the construction vehicles driving over it for
so,
a year,
so
and a
my-
half or whatever.
Yeah,
So
so
my-
that's fine, they just have to protect it.
so Doug, my opinion is, keep the existing road base as your construction road until we get to a point where we could shorten the construction. Obviously, we have to, once we get to putting the basins in, we're gonna give you a construction schedule.
Yeah,
We're gonna,
the construction schedule.
because the first thing you have to do for a construction site is create gravel. So we already have gravel, we have the loop, so we probably just leave it paved. And then the entrance points to our site, that's where our gravel would start. And then as the building approaches construction, we can put a schedule together.
You just pave it all at once.
Yeah, but we don't wanna rip up the road
Of
too
course not.
soon, because then
Because
you're gonna
Brookdale-
waste the road.
Brookdale also is probably expecting it to remain in decent condition for their business.
Oh, we
And
have a
not
CI, we're
trash.
gonna have a detailed, not us, but we can give a general one to you guys, but the construction manager is totally in his interest to minimize dust and keep Brookdale.
Oh, yeah, no, no,
You
it's
gotta
not,
understand, Brookdale's already addressed this, I mean, they're very conscious of
yeah.
disruptions with their business and how we're gonna operate,
So they're on
notices.
you already about that.
It's already in the agreement.
It's to everybody's benefit to shorten the duration of that road, because it's an
Yes.
artery. Why would we open up this site and leave it that way for a long time?
I
There's no,
don't remember
get
the
more
current
phone calls.
condition of it.
we're gonna get more phone calls, nobody wants that.
We're gonna have bigger problems if we don't get it done.
Okay, that was fine, that was good.
That's a
Well,
good
if you
point.
can get that, if that stone ends up being type 2, then you have enough to do all the roads you want. If it tests out, If it comes up as a test.
Yeah, just a couple of things Jamie and I were talking about. So the next meeting for the 25th is the public hearing. But because you're having your structural engineer come in and talk to us that night, we will do seeker after we've heard from him and everything, and have possibly had time to digest that, so. And then Jamie wanted to mention something else about that.
Oh, just that we had talked early on about the senior, and we would like something on the plan that defines that this is senior housing for the which is, what you guys just said.
55.
55.
Is it specified in the?
With the parking and
It says
everything
senior,
else.
but it doesn't say what it means.
The way, yeah.
No, that one.
It does say senior, it just doesn't say.
Doesn't
I
say it.
thought it did say.
It's just no definition of what senior
Oh, right,
is.
no definition, but the word
Does
is
say
in there.
senior,
The word is in there.
Yep. Clarify it.
I think you make notes of these things for the next time.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the day have.
Before, so I know how-
Oh, yeah.
Are you guys doing?
Well, I think we gotta be careful.
Cause I had a few and then I stopped.
All right, is there anything else from the board or from you guys?
Could we keep the submission that we have for the,
What do you mean?
You mean as opposed to?
do we have to reprint? Do you want all, we had a handful of changes.
I think that because it's a public hearing,
It's
almost,
I
it needs
mean,
to be.
I
Yeah.
think we're at, if you redo it,
Yeah.
don't, I mean, this sounds like what it's pretty much gonna be unless there's
Yeah.
something crazy that happens.
You answered all my questions
Okay.
from before. or
It
whatever
should be a
that-
final set.
All right, well,
Right? I mean, is there anything where that would not make it a final set?
just, well, I'd
That
like
feels like
to,
jinxing
Doug, what's your time on the easements? I'd like to, we won't have the legal descriptions, but I want to at least get your, if you can get me comments on the easements, the notations you mentioned on up and set of street.
Well,
I
I think
don't
it's
think you
pretty,
need notation
I think it's
on,
pretty clear, right? I mean, you've got 3 ponds that you show on the drawings,
Right,
right? But when you go into the stormwater calculations, they call them pond 8, pond 9. But the drawings, I mean, kind of like Don brought up, you know, it calls out all kinds of different things for the easement. It says an access easement and an easement to Brookdale, and it says something else, but, you know, there's gotta be a thought process that your designer has gotta come up with, because like you said, right, I mean, you said it yourself, that you combine all the stormwater in these ponds from both entities. So somebody's gotta be responsible to maintain them.
yeah, we're familiar with that, no, we can add
So
that.
somebody's gotta, you know, I mean, either it's Highbridge or Brookdale or a third party or whatever you're gonna come up with. And then, you know, the easements, they're probably reciprocating easements, I would think, Jamie, right? For all the ponds, for both.
Sure.
And I don't know if you picked up on it, Doug, we put a maintenance access easement on the hybrid site only.
Yeah, that was confusing, right? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so we can take that off.
Well, it
and
doesn't make
just-
any sense, right? Because it should be an easement that benefits everybody,
Yeah,
not
so
an
just-
access easement.
So I'll just call it
And
maintenance.
the line was in there and it included the other easements, right? So
Yeah, it's just
the
ma-
thought process wasn't.
yeah,
really
it's within maintenance access is just a note with a detail, but it's
Yeah,
not.
but that
connected.
same red line said,
Yeah.
right over here, access agreement to
Yeah.
Brookdale, and over here it's
well,
an access
listen,
agreement.
if you want to go with these plans, excuse me, Doug, sorry. For the public hearing, that's fine, then there'll be another, you know.
You can
Yeah,
do
well, I
this.
mean, the deadline for the
That might be a
public hearing
safer idea.
meeting would be Wednesday, whereas.
That might be a safer idea.
Can live with these.
I mean, if we're
Yeah.
coming down to
These
printing
are
costs.
okay, yeah, these are okay for public hearing and then.
Well, it's timing too, and Doug, if you wouldn't mind, like to share that, Chris and I, what we come up with, share that, we're still gonna work on the drawings, but we can, make a little progress on.
And could there be conditional approvals just upon update the final set of drawings to be done?
That would be.
I think it depends on what it is.
Sure.
If
what
it's
is- what
changing,
information-
like Village of Manlius to town over county, I mean,
Right.
that kind of stuff is one thing. Unresolved things are things that you're not comfortable, you can provide.
This does take
It's
a
different.
I go way back to an hour and a half
It's on
ago.
Brookdale's property,
This
and they're gonna
sidewalk
build it,
is
take
just
care of it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it has to work.
no, it's
They
not.
don't have to, okay, so.
So we're
It's just
okay with these
cleaning up.
plans for the public hearing.
Yeah, we're gonna work on it,
To
yep.
change them, but then, yeah, if there's any other comments after the public hearing.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, why don't you?
Yeah.
If you're okay with it anyway. Okay. All right, anything else from anybody? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I do not have any other business. Anyone? Oh, sorry. Oh, okay.
Bob
Does anyone have anything else? Okay.
Bob
I will look for a motion
is
to
the
adjourn.
applicant on this project.
Okay.
He is, yeah, he has been involved in the project
Second by
since its
Ernie, all in
inception.
favor?
How do we change?
Do a modification,
Meeting is
send
adjourned.
it to Lisa.
Okay, should that come from Chris or from us?